Hey guys, I'm No Sleeves 12, and it's time for another episode of Inside NHL Esports, where we'll recap all of the results, ongoings, and everything in between for the current NHL 20 esports season. So we're going to kick things off with a few different announcements. Again, some teams announced events. There were some that happened since the last episode, and some big updates in the Washington Capitol event as well. So let's jump into it. So first things first, the Minnesota Wild announced their second event for the NHL esports season with their own national event. So much like last year, they opened it up to North America. As far as their esports event did go, they recently held a very closed regional one, but this one will be open to anyone inside North America. So just some key notes about this event. We're looking at it's a $5,000 prize pool. Details on that haven't really been broken down. PS4 only. It's December 14th and 15th for the online qualifier. It's going to be single elim, but inside sources have told me that as of the top 16, the final 16 that make it on the online qualifier will be a best of 3. So that is a good change to see as far as the 1v1 events go, changing or at least having a portion of it be a best of 3 means that, you know, you're going to have the best players be represented. So that's obviously very good, and good on the Wild for having another event and, running alongside another one where they did like the previous one this year, where it was very closed off, very, Minnesota Wild fan oriented, whereas this event obviously won't necessarily have Minnesota Wild fans, but will include everyone and be the most competitive event they could have. It is also going to be at Mall of America, which is kind of controversial when you think the venue seemed good, but the setup and production of the event last year did take a ton of criticism. As you can see in the picture here, they literally had to play on TVs. The stream was only on 720. Now, they used Faceit last year, and sources have told me that they are not using Faceit this year, so look for, maybe a potentially much better quality product when it comes to Minnesota Wild's event for NHL 20. Moving on to the Montreal Canadiens event. So this is from TDIHockey.com. A good buddy of mine, fantastic website for all your news and info when it comes to esports events. So the Montreal Canadiens, kind of a very confusing event. It's partial invite only. Some of it's online, some of it's in person, but let's try to get down to it. So they had a qualifier for their event. It was in person, and here was the final 8. You had Mivians take it in the final, winning a best-of-3 series against JFT. He did win the series 2-1. You had Sam Delisle come in third, McFlurry, Sir Gav, Risk-Taker, Arsenault, and Kildberg. Now, the next event that's coming up will also be in person, but they've got an online one as well. And again, it's not for everyone. You have to be invited by the Canadiens, which is very odd because that means that there could be some bias involved. It's just I'm curious to see how this plays out, as it's so much different as far as the selection goes. I get wanting to choose the best and most competitive players, totally, but have someone or a group of people in the community that know me unbiased about it, because if you're going to do it that way, you need to have the best players in the event that are able to attend, obviously. On to the Washington Capitals. So their registration is now open, and some big teams have already done and signed up. We've got BBB. You can check out their rosters here. It looks like Jemima Paralyzer, K-Cut, new member for BBB, Grim Sitful, and Bones. So Nuge is out of BBB, K-Cut is in. And again, all the biggies are here. There's Legacy, Prophecy, Resilience, Entourage, who did make a huge splash by signing Regs. It's very interesting to see 1v1 heavy great players kind of break into the Sixes scene, and one of the top Sixes teams in the world for NHL 20, putting Regs the I would say consensus number 1 North American player right now currently on their team is pretty impressive when you think about it. He's not really known as a Sixers player at all, but he is fantastic at it, and it's going to be awesome to see how he does with Entourage. So they are, like I said, the registration is now open. Here are some things that you want to know when it comes to it. QCs are now available to actually play. It looks like the Washington Capitals have worked with who they needed to work with, and they are allowing Quebec players who, because of an old Quebec law, weren't able to sign up or participate giveaways or money, anything involving money. The Washington Capitals have worked with them, and Quebec players will be able to play in the event, which is awesome because you just want to have the best event possible, and having Quebec players, there's a lot of good ones out there in the event, is fantastic. Also, it is 18 plus, so that did impact. There's not a ton of them, but there is a few very, very good players that are not going to be able to attend. I believe you need to be 18 by December 6th. There's no exception to that. And so it will impact some rosters, as it has already. I've seen it so far. Now, there is 96 teams, first come, first serve, 96 teams that are registered. It's not all of them have a confirmed 6 or 7 players on it, but 80 out of 96 are filled up. So if you want a team and you want to try it out, you need to sign up ASAP and get your team in there. Some other details here. The registration did begin on November 25th, and it closes on December 6th at 11:59 Eastern Time, when 96 teams have completely registered, whatever occurs first. So if 96 happens, which it looks like it's going to, or that date happens, that's it. So only 6 players will make it to the LAN. The 7th will not. So if you are a utility player, you will not be going to the LAN via paid travel and all that kind of stuff. So just be wary of that. The live events will be held on February 29th, 2020 at the MedStar Wizards District Gaming Studio in Washington, D.C. Some details. The live event, you won't be able to have guests there, so it's not going to be open to the public, which is kind of a letdown, but it will be all of the participants and whatnot. But that is one negative when it comes to the event, which is pretty much not had any. Washington has done a great job trying to put on their best event possible for sixes, and it's great to see. The playoffs and whatnot will change depending on how many players or teams do sign up. So over 64 did sign up, so there will be a 32-team knockout bracket for the playoffs to get in, which will be fun to watch as well. When it comes to prizing first place team, so this is what happens if you are one member of a winning team. You'll win $1,600 or $1,666 American. Second place, a player will earn $833, so no small amount at all, and especially when you consider the other esports events that are going on for sixes, this is a big jump in prize winnings, which is awesome. And again, they are all in American, so if you're a Canadian team, that's just that much more. But if you need any updates, just make sure you're following Jay Zelnicker 12 on Twitter, as well as Caps Gaming. Again, you'll get all of the up-to-date info immediately, as soon as you can, when you follow them. Also follow Johnny, or the O-Way, on Twitter, as well, as he does have all of the up-to-date stuff as it comes. So just make sure you're watching for those ones. But again, here are the dates as well. As the season starts, you're going to be playing a season each week, and there's going to be dates as far as a default time. You'll have the weekend to play, and there is a default time. I believe it's 9 p.m. Eastern time is when you need to start your games for the week, the best of 3. And if you can't come up with a time, that default time is when you're going to play. And if one team can't, you will forfeit, unfortunately. Moving on to the Toronto Maple Leafs Season 2. The second LAN qualifier is underway. So the first LAN had already happened, again, to earn points to get into the top 16 for the final Leafs event later on in the year. So on PlayStation, here are the top 16 currently. We've got Lander out in front at 16-1, Criticals, Weeping Whale, Geimer, Saphir Snipes, Mikey D, Josh, they speak of me as he's making a climb now. Josh Flores didn't come to the LAN last month. He will be attending this one, so that's a huge player to watch out for at the next event. Polgs, Chun Chun, Henny, Westy, Stars for the win, Accent Star, No Need for Excuses, Stamkos, and myself currently. So again, a lot of the players that did make the first event on PlayStation 4. The one thing I will say is that the Xbox one, it is lacking, so, if you have both consoles, it might be easier to actually get on and, qualify on Xbox. I mean, you got Caboose, Sitful, Odie, Dangs, Gong Show, Boosh, Bunker, Dominiscus, and then Cappy, Tendy as well. Rahanic joining on PS4, Corey Perry. So a lot of known players as well, but a lot less games being played on the Xbox side. So you will have until November 30th to actually be able to sign up and play. as matchmaking will then close. And the next following LAN will happen. Sorry, December 2nd at 12 a.m. So again, Sunday night, that would be the last day to play. And the ladder is only open during non-Leafs games day. So just be sure. I believe there's only 3 left, including tonight. So just be careful of that. You're running out of time to qualify. And the last thing I want to discuss is the Elite 8, a tournament that I put on for the last, 2 months with Gamersaloon. Last night was the finals. So the top 12 players from the season of the Elite 8 did match up and go through a best-of-3 playoff. And in the end, it was Regs taking home the championship, facing off against Nuke. Who else? These two were the only winners throughout the 8 weeks. Those two, it was only Regs or Nuke that won each week, each winning for themselves, and then Regs taking home the championship. He won $350 American for winning that, not to mention the $375 he took home throughout the season. So great job for Regs and Nuke, and I'm looking forward to the second season. Details on that will be coming, but we will be bringing back Season 2 of the Elite 8. So if you are in North America and want to start playing against some of the best in the world, the Elite 8 was the perfect tournament to do so, and I'm super excited to get to do it again. So guys, that is going to do it for Inside NHL Esports. All the info and things that you need to know to keep up to date with the esports scene with NHL. Let me know what you think and any questions you have in the comments section down below as well. All of the links to the events will be down below as well. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.